Hello friends, welcome to my entry in the 2017 Aristocob Cobfoolery Contest for the Pro Class Freehand category. And the pipe that I would like to present to you today is a pipe that I call the Briny Barrel Cob. Now this pipe was inspired by a conversation that I had with my good friend the Artful Codger, and he said that he always thought it would be a great idea to have a pipe that looked like a barrel that had been lost at sea. So a barrel that was part of a shipwreck or fell overboard at some point. And that idea really got stuck in my head. I thought, that really makes a lot of sense. It would look cool. And the Country Gentleman was just the perfect canvas to create such a thing. So I started off with a naked Missouri Meerschaum Country Gentleman and a piece of Spanish cedar. And I'll put a little picture of the starting materials in here so that you can see them. And I'll talk you through the process, but I have made a video. It's a little bit different than other videos I've made, and I encourage you to go and see that. Those of you that don't know the Artful Codger, Ben likes things, likes his videos to be a bit on the dramatic side and sometimes a bit spooky. So I tried to do a little bit of an homage to Ben, and anyway, I had a lot of fun making it, and hope you'll take a look, because it's an enjoyable video. So put links up above and below for that if you're interested in the build process, or if you just want to spend a few minutes seeing something a little overly dramatic and silly. I'll talk about the cob itself, what I did there, and then the rest of the pipe. So the cob started off as a naked Country Gentleman. I sanded that down, applied plaster of Paris, and sanded again, and then used that as the starting point. The first thing I did was I carved these grooves all the way around that were used to create the barrel hoop effect. And those grooves are actually filled with the kind of thread that I use. I also build fly rods as a hobby, so it's the kind of thread that I use to attach the guides to the rod. This particular thread was a rusty copper color, and I thought that it did a nice job of adding just a little bit of glimmer and flash to the pipe, but at the same time looking rusty enough to pass for sunken barrel staves. I'm sorry, sunken barrel hoops. That was then covered in a clear epoxy, and you can kind of see the shine coming off of that. And that was both to protect the thread, but also to provide a little bit of glimmer and to bring things up to the same surface level, so the pipe is smooth all the way around. I then cut the staves in, actually filed them in, and I used the individual corn kernel lines as a guide for that. So the stave spacing is actually determined by the cob itself. Each of those was cut in separately and then were hand painted with black stain, and I needed to do that in order to provide that sort of vertical effect of a barrel stave. After that stain set, I then stained everything over with a mixture of, I believe it was mahogany and some antique amber stain that was mixed, cut with alcohol, and applied as in a light coat, and that provided this nice sort of brownish, yellowish kind of cast to it, which seemed barrel-like to me. So I was pretty happy with that. The little features you see on here, so we've got some barnacles down around the bottom here, some barnacles up here, and a little starfish clinging to the side here. Those were made with a process that I developed using plaster, and I tried with just plaster alone. Of course, that's very easy to chip off and flake off, but I came up with a mixture of plaster and glue that will set hard, almost like a plastic once it's set. It can be sanded, it can be carved, and the nice thing about it is you can use the same stains that you would use staining the pipe to come up with different colors. So I was able to use that with a little applicator that I made using a syringe to apply this mixture and create these patterns that are at least reminiscent of barnacles, and to create this little starfish. And I also went in and dappled it a little bit with some black stain and things like that. Let me see if I can get you a close-up. just to provide some texture before the final finishing. So that's, oh, and the interior of the cob, I have used my standard procedure of pipe mud, bringing that bottom up and then centering the draft hole. There we go. It's always a challenge to do that backwards and looking in the other direction. Okay, the shank was, as I said in the beginning, made of Spanish cedar, and that's a bit of an experiment for me. I wanted to try the wood because, of course, it may have some impact on the smoking quality. You know, Spanish cedar is a wood that's used heavily in the cigar industry for cigar boxes, cigar humidors, things like that. And I thought, well, I've got a piece. Why not give it a try? The other reason I really wanted to try it on this pipe, or wanted to use it on this pipe, is that the grain structure on Spanish cedar is very, very tight. And just in terms of scale, I didn't want to have this thing that's supposed to be a barrel with a big piece of loopy grained wood sticking into it, because it would kind of destroy the illusion. That this needed to be a very tight grain. So it worked for that. I carved into that Spanish cedar this seaweed motif that you see going around it, and then I filled in that carving with some green paint to create the effect of seaweed wrapping around the shank. That ties in nicely with the stem, which is a hand-cut acrylic stem made of an acrylic color called pine, which is a light swirled green that I just thought went well with the nautical theme. And yeah, I made the stem using my standard stem making methods. So this is just a standard cob replacement stem that I made from a piece of acrylic. And again, this is all detailed in the video if you want more information. All put together, the finish is buffed on a buffer and then finished with a coat of carnauba wax, and that is the Briny barrel cob. I also made a little companion tamper to go along with it, and this was just for fun. It's not really part of the contest, but I figured I'd show it off. It's made from the same wood as the shank, so it's also Spanish cedar, and I tried to replicate something that looked like a dock pylon, just to continue with the nautical theme. So you see we got the tarry top and the rope that always seems to be tied around such things, and just makes a nice little companion tamper for the pipe. So it's a nice set for smoking on a rainy evening when you're reading a nautical adventure, or not. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the pipe, at least as much as I've enjoyed making it, because it was a great deal of fun. Thank you, Scott, for hosting the contest again this year. I really do enjoy it. Thank you to all the judges and all the folks that vote for my pipe and all the other pipes. And thanks to all the other contestants. I really enjoy your entries, and I think, in all honesty, if I couldn't enter the contest, I would still have as much fun just watching all the entries. There's a lot of really talented, creative people doing magical things with Missouri meerschaum corn cobs, and it's great to be able to see that all collected in one place at least once a year. So thank you all, and until next time, I'll look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Goodbye now.